everybody, and welcome to today's practice. I thought we would give a little focus today on muscles of our posture, and many of you already know what some of that is, but the main thing, just to let you know what we'll be focusing on, is of course our abdominal core, and those muscles almost always need strengthening. And our mid-back muscles around the shoulder blades, which always need strengthening. But then there's also muscles that need releasing, and almost always those muscles are the front of the chest, and the pec muscles that attach to the arms, and even the front of the neck. And then most of us, or many of us, also need some strengthening in the front of our quads and a bit of release in the back of our thighs. With that physical focus, we are going to continue just a deep sense of awareness and presence. And remember, even with a focus on a particular physical practice like postural muscles, we're still going to have the priority be on the breath. So having said all that, make sure you're comfortable in your space. Make sure you can have a comfortable seat, and if you need anything, you can stop the video and get that. Towards the end of the video, it would be helpful if you either have a spare yoga mat or a thick towel or a blanket that you'll be able to roll up. So if you don't have one of those things, either a towel or a blanket or an extra mat, if you would get that, just set it aside so it's handy, and then we'll begin. So, come into the comfortable seated posture of your choice. And just place your hand on the front of your chest, right over your heart, and lower your eyes. And just have a few breaths where all you're doing is just having that pure focus on your breathing and on what's going on inside. So this is the starting point and the really genuine presence of yourself in your yoga practice. Really important. Just check in with yourself. And then lower your hand whenever you'd like, and just have a few long, slow breaths. What you're trying to do is, when you inhale, really fill up the upper chest, the rib cage. If you have any inhale left over, you're going to carry it right into the lower part of the body in the abdomen. Really big inhale here. And when you exhale, you're going to feel that tummy draw in, and then a little compression also in the rib cage, just to rid yourself of that old breath. So just a few breaths like this, where you're breathing really fully, inflating as much as you can when you inhale. And releasing that breath when you exhale. So with these really long, slow breaths, just begin to feel yourself let go of any strain or tension in the face, in the neck. And then blink your eyes open and place your hands to the heart. Namaste. And just from your seated position for just a moment, go ahead and let your arms come to the sides of the body. And on your inhale, sweep the arms up and feel the spinal extension. So with spinal extension, you're not actually doing any kind of a back bend. You're getting equally long in the side body, the front and back body, and you're just reaching up. And if you can, you're going to interlock your hands over your head and then press the palms away. And again, you're just trying to feel that extension. Can you let go of any tension in your neck? And still, on your next inhale, get as long as you can in the spine, all 4 sides, long as you can. Lovely. And when you exhale, just release the hold in your hands and bending the elbows. Just draw the elbows down to shoulder height in that little cactus shape. Next inhale, you're going to press the backs of your hands a little bit back. And now just the beginning of a little back bend as you open the front of the chest. Just notice if there's any tightness anywhere. Very good. Next inhale, you're going to reach up again. Excellent. Now nice and easy, we're going to just start to bring one arm a little further upward than the other. Remember, I call this apple picking. Then the second arm. So you're stretching just a little bit, extending one side a little more than the other. And all I want you to do is notice, is there any, is one side a little tighter than the other? And just let this feel good. So you're just really easing into movement now. Lovely. And release the arms. And I'm going to come right to the side so you can see. All I want you to do now is I want you to consciously move the shoulder arm bone, the junction right there. Just move them forward. And notice that the back body, around the shoulder blades, your shoulder blades are, it's called protraction. They're going forward. And then of course, when you move those arm bones back, the shoulder blades are retracting. They're getting closer together, just like that. We're going to add just a little movement here. So as the arm bones go forward, upper back's a little rounded. Then you lift the shoulder bones and go up. And very mindfully, you're going to pull the shoulder bones back and then down. So just like that, make a few circles. You're going up and really, or forward rather, and really notice that the upper back is rounding. And then move the shoulder bones up and then retract back and then down. And one more time like that. Really get sure of yourself. When those shoulders go forward, you're feeling the upper back round and then up with the shoulders and then straight back and then down. Very good. And then release and just shake it out just a little bit. Make sure you feel nice and loose as we head for the floor now. So we're going to lie back. When you come to the floor, extend all the way up. Bring the arms over the head. I want you to feel your full spinal extension as you inhale next. You're reaching up with the arms, reaching away from the hips with your feet. And just feel the length in the body. And you can come away from that length a little bit when you exhale, but reestablish it the next time you inhale. Creating just a little millimeter more of length between your spinal vertebra, and then release it. Yeah, very good. And then one more time, getting as long as you can in the spine. And just placing the thumbs down on the floor. Just hold this just for a couple more breaths. And just feel as you exhale, there's maybe a little pool right here in your abdominal area. You can feel it suctioning in just a little bit when you exhale. Still feeling the length though in the whole of the body when you inhale. Lovely. And then release the arms to the sides of the body. Let's just have a little stretch here. So the right thigh goes in and you can support it with your interlocked hands. And every time you exhale, you're just drawing that a little closer into the body. And you're extending the left leg when you inhale. And then raising that right leg straight up to the sole of the foot facing the ceiling, and place your interlocked hands right at the back of the thigh. And I want you to feel when you inhale, you're pressing a little bit the thigh into the hands and the hands into the thigh. And just feel that. Also, can you feel the front of your leg, the quad? Can you feel it engage? So maybe you might want to keep one hand on the back of the thigh, one hand on the front. What I want you to feel is that when you, with your mindfulness, when you contract that quad, the kneecap is going to pull upward, or rather towards the thigh a little bit more. I want you to feel that engagement in the front of the thigh. At the same time, you're pushing a little bit the thigh, the back of the thigh, into your hand. Just make sure that front of the leg is engaged. And then you can resume with your interlocked hands. And just for 3 breaths, really press the back of the thigh into the hand and the hands into the back of the thigh at the same time. Nice long slow breaths while you're doing that. And then let's release. And the next time you inhale, just press the heel away from the sits bone. Get your leg as long as you can. And just see if is it any easier. Maybe it is. Maybe it's not. Slowly exhale and release that leg to the floor. Nice firmness in your abdominal core. Draw in the other leg. So the left leg now is bent, coming in. Interlock your hands just above the shin. As you exhale, bring that left thigh in towards the body and extend out through the right leg. Just a couple more breaths like this. You're really feeling the left thigh coming towards the body as you exhale. When you inhale, you're feeling that right leg extend out as much as it can. And then extend up. When you inhale next, the left leg straight up, pushing the sole of the foot is pressing towards the ceiling. Interlock your hands and press the back of the thigh into those interlocked hands. If it helps, you can take your one hand, the front of the thigh again, and hold on to the back. What you want to remember to do is try to engage the front of the thigh, the quad muscle, just a little bit. So it should feel a little firmer in the front of your leg, and then press a little more the back of the thigh into the hands. And a little reciprocal action, bring the hands into the thigh. And let's hold this for another 2 breaths from now. Make your breath long and slow and feel that little efforting, bringing the thigh into the hands and the hands into the thigh. And then release that. And then press as much as you can. Get that left leg just as long as you can from the heel all the way to the sits bone. And on your next exhale, you're just going to release that. Very good. Draw both knees one at a time if you'd like towards the chest, and then extend both legs up. Place your hands interlocked right behind your neck and let those elbows splay out. On your next exhale, you're drawing in. Tummy button is coming in and you feel a real firmness in your abdominal core. The pubic bone is curling in and up. And with that firmness, on your next exhale, you're going to drop the right leg almost to the floor. And same exhale, you're going to raise it back up again. And then you're going to have a big inhale. Exhale, engage that abdominal core, drop the left leg down and bring it back up again. Big inhale, and there's your rhythm. So as you exhale, right leg goes down, almost to the floor, and then all the way back up again. That's when you inhale. And when you exhale, left leg goes down and all the way back up again. One long exhale. Inhale fully and continue just like that. You're trying to firm up your abdominal core muscles so you're not feeling anything in particular in your low back. The work is happening right in your abdominal core muscles. So wherever you are in this process, would you continue one more complete sequence, one on each side? And whenever you finish that, just bring your knees in towards the chest. Release the hands that are around your neck and place the hands right on top of your knees. Go ahead and separate those thighs. Little rocking side to side. So what you're going for is an ease of movement. So it should feel really good just to move like this. Lovely. And from here, you're going to bring the thighs back together again. And you're just going to come up to tabletop however you'd like. Folding the legs under and coming in to that hands and knees position. In the hands and knees position, your hands are under the shoulders, knees are under the hips. And I want you just to remind yourself of that shoulder protraction and retraction. So from here, just allow the arms stay nice and straight, and you just allow the torso to sag down. So just notice how that feels. And then press into the hands and bring the torso back in a nice long straight line. And can you do this a couple times and really feel the action happening around the shoulder blades as you sag down in the torso? Elbows are not bending. You're feeling the action around the upper and mid back, around the muscles of the shoulder blades. So you're sagging, remember, and pressing firmly your hands into the floor. As you press the floor away, you can feel the action in your shoulder blades, just to let you really feel that. Lovely. And then from here, let's start doing a few cat-cow stretches. Make sure your spine feels nice and lubricated. So on your own breathing, as you're ready, find those inner hands and press and lift the heart, lift the tailbone. And as you exhale, lead with that progressive abdominal contraction and round your spine. Just like that. And just feel yourself segue back and forth between cat and cow. Very nice. And from your tabletop position now, on the inhale, you're going to stretch the right leg back, and if all's well, you're going to stretch the left arm forward, and you're trying to get as much spinal extension as you can, so you feel really long in the torso, equally all four front, back, and sides, but also length in the leg, length in the arm, and just let the face relax, and just have a couple more breaths here. Requires a lot more strength to hold it, of course, so just let that strength kick in the same time you're breathing long, slow breaths. And then you release when you need to. We're going to do the exact same thing on the second side. You're going to bring the left leg back and then the right arm forward as long as that feels good. You know, if it doesn't feel good, you're going to work with just the leg, okay? So if that's not good for your wrists, just going to bring the leg back. Otherwise, opposite arm and leg are extended back and forward, and the spine is just as long as you can get it. You can feel a little work in that gluteal muscle in the back, and you feel length in the arm and the leg. And then you come right into a long, slow rhythm of breathing. And release. Excellent. And then from here, let's put our hands one hand length further ahead, flex the toes under, and come on into downward facing dog. Now, depending on how this downward facing dog feels to you, you might want to just start walking on the spot. So if you feel any tension in the backs of those calves, anywhere in the legs, go ahead and pedal it out a little bit. And keeping the strength in the arms, you want to remain with focus on those inner hands. Very good. And from here, let's go ahead and inhale right into the plank pose. So remember, you've got to have that strength in the core and a little feeling that those upper arms are isometrically trying to come closer together. And you want, again, the length in the spine. The back of the neck is long. Core is drawing in. When you have had enough, drop your right knee to the floor. And then we're going to come right into the right wrist, right hand, and little squeeze in the right hand. So it feels like a little gecko trying to hold on, just to take a little pressure off the wrist. And you're going to line up that back foot with the knee. And let's go ahead and reach up with our left arm. Let's just have a lovely stretch. So make sure the left, or yes, the upper side body, which is the left side on me, make sure it's really nice and stretched here, and just release into that just for a couple of breaths. Feel that sensation of just allowing the upper side of your body to let go. And when you're ready, just pivot down, left hand touches the floor, left knee touches the floor, and let's come on back into the downward facing dog, and let's just keep moving from here. The energy is the heels are trying to go back and down as much as they can, but remember, they may never touch the floor. It doesn't matter. And you're feeling that little protraction in the shoulder blades as you find your inner hands and push the floor away there. Coming into your plank pose as you inhale, really strong upper arms and core. And you're just going to hold it for a couple of breaths. And when you've had enough, you just touch the left knee to the floor. That shin can pivot out a little bit just to hold you. And then you're going to come up where you can balance yourself and hold yourself. You're going to reach that upper arm straight up. And then you're just going to let it fan right forward so it's more parallel with your ear. And just release into this. And have a couple of breaths here. And when you're ready to come out, you're just going to windmill down. Right hand comes back. And flex the toes under. And come right into your downward facing dog. And touching knees to the floor nice and carefully. Touching forearms to the floor and coming right down into a Sphinx pose here. So let your hips just sashay back and forth a little bit. And just check your posture. Make sure the elbows are right under your shoulders. And make sure the forearms are parallel. And just feel yourself press down into the forearms. And with that, just with your mindful awareness, just form the pose just slowly and carefully where you feel as though the very upper part of your chest and around the collarbones is starting to widen out. And what has to happen so that occurs? You're pressing into the forearms, maybe a little movement of where it feels like you're isometrically drawing those forearms away from each other, left to right. And just put your heart forward as much as is comfortable. So of course, how compromised your posture is naturally will define how difficult this pose is for you. If you are feeling difficulties, you can come in and out of it a little bit by dipping your head and taking a little pressure off, and then coming back into it by pressing into the forearms left to right and rising up in the heart just a little bit. And when you've had enough, press a little bit more into the heel of the hand so you can splay the elbows out and come on down to the forehead. Bring the arms right to the sides of the body.
And just a little movement here. Make sure that the tailbone feels nice and heavy. Pubic bone feels nice and heavy. And when you inhale next, it's a very slow movement where you just start to lift the forehead, lift your nose, lift those arm bones, lift the arms, and reach back. Reaching back with the hands, reaching back with the arms. And as you exhale, you're coming back down. Breathe like that, just a couple of breaths as you inhale. Just feel yourself sequentially. You're lifting forehead, lifting the nose, lifting the chest, and then the arm bones and the arms, and you reach back. Nice little process. Totally safe. As you exhale, you're releasing down. And again, as you inhale next, you're rising up with the forehead, nose, and chest, and the arms go back and you reach back. And you can release if you need to, but if you feel like you can hold this for a couple of breaths, where you want to feel it is those shoulder blades are trying to go a little closer together behind you and the arms are lifting back. And release when you need to. And just to make sure we're getting this really thoroughly now, we're going to come into what's called airplane arms, which is just the whole of the arm is in line with the shoulder out to the side, and pretty similar to what we've just done. So just make sure that the tailbone is nice and heavy, pubic bone is nice and heavy, and then we're going to begin just to look up. The forehead rises, and as the chest rises, both arms lift off the floor and give a nice energy towards going left to right with both arms, with either arm. And exhale, release. And on the inhale, you're breathing in and out of this. You're just lifting the head, lifting the chest, and lifting the arms. And then you're reaching left to right. And release. Lovely. And then one more time, you're going to reach as you lift the head slowly, arms and chest slowly lift. You're going to reach as much as you can from left to right. And it's totally up to you. Do you want to hold this for a couple of breaths? If you're feeling any tension or strain in your low back, you want to come back down to the floor. Otherwise, you're holding this for a couple of breaths. And release right back down again. And from here, just as you're ready, we're going to slowly transition into pose of a child. So you're lifting up. And as you put your thighs and knees underneath you, you're just going to settle into the pose of your choice, maybe one fist on top of the other. The idea is to really let the hips nestle towards the heels as much as they can. And after 3 to 5 breaths, just slowly let yourself transition up into the squatting position. Coming forward and tucking those toes under and just being in the position where you can give yourself a little foot stretch. Your breath is really long and slow. And then we're all going to come to standing from here. So just let it be a nice sequential process for your body. Remember to feel the strength in your legs as you come onto the balls of the feet. Your bums are pushing out right out behind you. One hand on top of each thigh, and then you can safely come on up to standing. So having come to standing, if you'll come right to the very tops of your mat, and just place your hands to the heart. Set yourself up as you know how to do, so you're in the perfect Tadasana for yourself. You feel really balanced between left and right feet and legs. And just lower your eyes
And just check in with yourself again and just feel the rhythm of your own breathing. And just go inward and just feel your beautiful, precious life force as you breathe long, slow breaths. And then slowly, let's just drop our hands to the sides of the body, turning the palms outward. Let's inhale and breathe up. Arms over the head, feel that spinal extension. And as you exhale, release the arms to the sides of the body. And just repeat like that a couple more times. As you inhale, the arms go out to the sides and up and over your head. When you get there, really stretch up, extend up. As you press down through the feet. And as you exhale, you're just releasing down with the arms. One more time as you inhale, breathe up with the arms. And this time as you exhale, we're going to come right into a forward bend. So a little bend in the knees and just feel yourself coming over really carefully with control. Legs are strong. Fingertips touch the floor. As those fingertips touch the floor, on an inhale, you're going to try to straighten the thighs and bring the chest forward. Just feel those shoulder blades retract together just a little bit. And when you exhale, fingers and toes line up together and you can step back with the right leg. All you're going to do is bring that right knee to the floor and come up with your interlocked hands onto the thighs, or the front thigh, the front knee. All I want you to do here is just press down as long as your knee isn't hurting. Press down with that right knee, the knee that's on the floor, and get as vertical as you can in the torso. And hopefully you're going to feel just a little reaction here, right at the very top of your groin. That's what I want you to feel. That muscle really needs to stretch right there. That runs deep inside your spine and across the front of that leg. If you can, you're going to release the arms and hold that posture, and you're going to inhale, bring the arms up, and you're going to feel quite an extension in the spine here as you reach the fingertips towards the ceiling. And as you exhale, release the arms down. Fold those toes, flex those toes under, and here you are in a high lunge. From your high lunge, you're going to inhale the left arm right up. So a lot of pushing your weight into the right arm, and just come into a little bit of a twist here. As you come into the twist, let the back heel press back towards the wall behind you. And then release that left arm, left hand back to the floor. Let's just see now, from here, can you use the considerable strength in your legs required to come into a warrior one position. So take your time and see, can you lift up? It's quite a lot of strength. If you're not able to lift up, you're going to just help yourself and come into the warrior one position. When you get there, you're going to raise the arms over your head. And as you exhale, just traction those elbows right down to shoulder height. And just feel yourself on your next inhale, backs of the hands go back and the chest expands. And as you inhale, you're reaching up. Reach up really high. Come onto the ball of the foot. Then can you transition right into a warrior two? So you're going to lift up with the ball of the foot and pivot with real mindfulness for your hip joint and for your balance. Coming into your warrior two. You want to feel the back foot firmly planted all the way to the little toe side, but you want to feel real strength in this front thigh. And from your warrior two, let's come into a proud warrior or dancing warrior. So on the inhale, the front arm lifts, the back arm bends, and maybe place the back hand either on your thigh or right onto the small of your back with the back of your hand, and just really feel this lengthening in the front of the body. Lovely. And then inhale back into your warrior two. From here, we're going to slowly pivot back so we can come back into our high lunge. So it takes a lot of control. Once your hands are to the floor,
A little more weight into the right hand, and we're going to come again into the twist as you raise left arm over your head. Press back with the back of your heel. And then exhale, release. Very good. And then slowly, a couple little steps here. We're going to step back into the forward bend. On your exhale, a little bend in the knee, and just release the upper body over your legs. Let the head relax. And then prepare to come up just by a little bend in the knee. Lower your bum. Strengthen the thighs as you inhale. Push off the floor and come on back. Arms extended over the head. And exhale, hands to the heart. Nice, long, slow breaths. We're going to do the exact same thing on the other side. You're doing great. If you can, just keep coming along with me. And if you ever need to rest, you know it's fine. So exhaling, dropping the arms to the sides of the body. Inhaling, reaching up. Big, big, big length in the spine. Exhale into your forward bend. And on the inhale, little lengthening in the spine. So you're trying to attempt as much as you can to straighten those knees and bring the chest forward. Remember to feel that little effort between your shoulder blades. And exhale, nice soft release as you line the fingers and toes up. You're going to step back with the left leg. Once you get there, you're going to drop the left knee, and you're going to come up with your interlocked hands right to the front, or behind that front knee rather. Make sure all is well. Make sure you can press into that back knee a little bit so you feel a little reverberation into the groin of that back leg. And then you can release the arms if all is well, and inhale, reach up. And feel that lovely length in the spine. On an exhale, you bend your elbows and draw those shoulder blades straight down your spine. Next inhale, press those backs of the hands back and open your chest. And then inhale, reach up. Feel the length. Next exhale, you're reaching down to the floor, tucking those toes under, and you're coming in to the high lunge. And set yourself up. Make sure you've got enough left to right space. And we're going to do a little twist here, a little more weight into the left hand as you breathe the right arm up and over your head, pressing a little bit back in that back heel. And then you're going to release as you exhale. So find the strength you need to slowly bring yourself up from high lunge into the warrior one position. Regain your balance and bring the arms over your head. On the exhale, you're just going to draw those elbows down so you feel the shoulder blades tracking down your spine. On the inhale, backs of the hands press back, chest opens. And then inhaling, reaching back up again. It's from this position that you're going to reach up even higher, coming up onto the ball of the back foot, so you can just pivot into your warrior two position. Make sure you feel the security of the sole of the back of the foot securely on the floor, but you want to feel real strength in this front thigh. Any adjustments you need to make is absolutely fine. And just breathe into warrior two for a couple of breaths. On your next inhale, you're going to bring the right arm straight up and the back arm comes down. And you come into your version of dancing warrior. Remember, you want to feel a real opening now in the right side of the body. And then you're going to ever so gently and slowly come on back to warrior two. And from here, let your body pivot and rotate with control and mindfulness so you can come on back to your high lunge. One more twist in your high lunge, so a little leaning into the left arm,
So you can reach the right arm up over your head, a little pressing back with the back heel. And exhale, release that right arm down and just edge yourself back into your forward bend. Release down as much as you can, and you want to feel a nice release in the low back. You want to feel the crown of the head going towards the floor, and you want to feel a length in the back of your neck. And then bending the knees. You need that momentum so you can press into the feet and sweep up on the inhale. Release the folded hands to the heart. And just have a couple long, slow breaths. And from here, from your Tadasana position, we're going to come into a warrior three. So nice and gently, you're going to transfer weight into the left foot, into the left leg. And draw that right knee upward as if it's on a little marionette string. Raise your arms over your head. And are you still secure with your balance? If you are, maybe you can come straight into your warrior three. And if you don't have the balance yet, you might need to have a little help. But if you can, you want to maybe even press into the wall, a wall with your hands if you don't have the balance. But what I want you to try to do, it's okay to bend the standing leg a little bit, but see, can you get the back leg a little bit straight? Just work with that, work with the spinal extension. Very good. And slowly coming back, try to see if you can keep your balance. If you can't, it's no big deal. And come on back with the right knee bent yet again. And from here, let's come into figure four. Just fold that right ankle and shin over the left thigh. And breathe the arms up over your head. And here, this might be as far as you want to go, but I'd like to turn you loose to play with your balance. So if in your figure four, you feel like you might be able to move a little bit, you can put your hands to your hips and see what happens as you start to come into a little bit of a forward bend. And again, really play with this. If you start wiggling around and you're afraid you're going to fall, you can just come in and out of it, but really be present and notice what's happening in your body. So the balance and the breath is underlying most everything we do. So it's a really good thing. Remember, if you start shaking and quivering, just keep coming back to the focus on your balance. And just a few breaths of playing around here. And when you're ready, you're going to come on back out again. Bringing the right leg back to the floor. And coming into your Tadasana, hands to the heart, full awareness, full presence, breathing and noticing what's happening. And then shifting the weight more into the right foot, more into the right leg. We're going to do the exact same thing on the second side. So you're rising up with that left knee. First, feel the stability, and if you can feel it, you're going to raise the arms over your head. As you can see, even just this is quite a balance. If you feel secure, let's give warrior three a little go. Coming in with arms outstretched in front and the leg behind you. Remember, you can always have a little bend in the standing leg, but you're trying to extend that back leg as much as you can. When you're ready to come out, real focus on that standing leg. Just come out as carefully as you can. It's okay if you need to touch the left foot to the floor, but you are going to come back to the starting position of the left knee right up in marionette style. And then you can cross the side of the shin and the ankle over that right thigh into your figure 4. And your focus, of course, is on balance and on breath. And you can move as much as you'd like in your figure 4. And if you're having quite a challenge just being there, you don't have to move at all. And slowly, when you have had enough, we're going to lift that, uncross and lift that left knee again, and then carefully set it down. If you need to shake out that standing leg, feel free to do that. And just come into the best Tadasana with real spinal extension. You want to feel a broadening in the collarbones. You want to feel the shoulder blades are directly behind you. And just have 3 long, slow breaths here. Hands to the heart. And then let's all come back to the floor after that. So we've all come back to the floor now, and before we release into the cooling down, let's go ahead and have a boat pose Navasana, just again to check the strength of our abdominal core. So it's so easy to do it in stages, so all you really need to do is come and bend the knees, put the soles of the feet on the floor, and just have a little look and make sure those legs are parallel with each other. And the knee, from the knees to the feet, it looks like little sliding boards, okay? And then you can clasp your hands around the outside of your knees or underneath your knees. And before we do anything else, let's go ahead and find our sits bones, poise up on those sits bones nice and tall, and feel the broadening in our collarbones. And from here, feel your abdominal core curl in a little bit every time you exhale. And once you find that, you want to keep that abdominal core nice and firm throughout. So your first stage might be just as simple as lifting the heels and coming onto the tippy toes and leaning back just slightly, keeping the chest, front of your chest nice and broad, and the core really strong. That's a little bit too easy for you. All you have to do is continue raising the feet off the floor. And the core stays really strong, chest stays really broad. And you're checking each little stage out so you know the perfect place for you to pause. Next step might be just letting go in the hands. And if that's a little tough, you might want to do it just for a breath or 2 and then hold on again. So the idea is to constantly be checking and testing and challenging the strength of your abdominal core. So once you find, of course, most of us are going to be fine with a little bend in the knees and shins parallel, but if you're really strong in the core, you might want to straighten those legs, and that's completely optional. What I want you to do is find the perfect level for yourself. And as I said, even if that means going back and forth between the next higher level and then pausing back into the next lower level a few breaths. And you want to try to give that pose 5 or 6 long, slow breaths. And when you've had that, you want to come on down to the back, your backs. And just as a little counter pose, let's do a really easy bridge pose. So the heels are nice and close in to the body. Arms are alongside the body. And with this, see if you can tuck the shoulder blades more underneath you. So it's just a little awareness and effort here
as you try to get those shoulder blades underneath. And when you start to rise up, remember you want your lower back sort of pressed into the floor, and you want to dig into your heels a little more as you lift, and let the whole length of your arms help assist that lifting of your body. Now, you choose with the Navasana, the boat pose, it's nice to do a little bit of a back bend, but if that's not for you today, as long as you've lifted your hips and your hips are higher than your heart, you're fine. If you want to lift a little higher into a back bend, on the next breath, again, you really let the heels focus a little bit, but don't let the feet splay out. So you want to make sure the big toe side and the little toe side of the foot is pressing down as well. And just lift, let the head and neck go back as much as it would like to. And wherever you are in this pose, let's have 3 breaths. And then just very slowly, we're going to come out of the pose. Just let your back come to the floor again. Once you feel that, you're going to raise one knee and then the other. And just have a few breaths where you exhale and you just gently draw both thighs closer into the body. And of course, you let it go when you inhale. And then from here, let's go ahead and release both feet to the floor. Let the ankles and the knees be really close together, and let your arms come out to shoulder height. Just have a little bit of a spinal twist here, so as you exhale, let both knees, and you want to keep the knees stacked together. Just let them come on over to the left as far as is comfortable. And once you get there, maybe turn your head to the right and make sure that right arm is really reaching out to the right as far as you can comfortably. And just have 3 breaths there and just feel whatever sensation's happening on the right side of your body. And then turning your head so it faces the ceiling, we're going to lift one leg and then the other right back to center. Little movement side to side with our hips. And then we're going to do the exact same thing on the second side. So you want to make sure the ankles, the inside of your ankles and the knees and thighs are close together. And then on an exhale, we're going to come on over to the left. And you just want those legs stacked. They just come over as far as they can. You don't have to force anything. They just come over to the right as far as they can. And then you're going to turn your head to the left and reach out just a little bit here with that left arm. And find that space inside to have 3 long, slow breaths in this pose. When you're ready, you're going to just turn your head back to center, lift one leg and then the other. Maybe you want to go back and forth a couple times with the legs. And just take 20 or 30 seconds right now to do one final little movement, one final little stretch. It could be so simple. Whatever might feel good to your body, go ahead and ease into that right now. And with a view to all making our way into the final relaxation. And when you feel ready to join me in the final relaxation, remember in the beginning I
ask you to have a rolled up towel or a rolled up second mat, rolled up blanket, whatever suits. And one thing I forgot to mention is you might need a little bolster for your head. So it can be a little sofa pillow, anything at all that might give your head just a little support. I'm using a brick. What you want to do is put your nice little roll, and you want to have it right all the way to your tailbone, and you want to have it right at the center of your spine, and you're just going to lay back on that roll, try to center yourself, and then if you need it, you'll have a little bolster for your head. And of course, if this hurts your low back, you may have to bend the knees. If it doesn't hurt your low back, it's probably best if you can leave your legs straight. Your arms can be straight out to the sides. And just allow the body to get heavy here for just a moment. So your knees are bent if your back is fussy or they're straight. What I want you to notice is that roll right on your spine gives a little lift right in the center of your back, so that these bones, the arm shoulder bone junction, has gravity to help stretch these muscles. So it's a lovely passive stretch. It's really good for everybody, even if you don't have an issue with your posture. For those of you who find this really easy, I would suggest that you bend the elbows into the cactus flower shape and lie like this. If that doesn't, what happens if you aren't flexible enough for that is the backs of your hands and your forearms might become airborne. So if you're laying here with those bent elbows and your arms can't touch the floor, then you just come on back so the arms straight out, okay? So you want to find the level where you are getting a passive stretch right across the top of your chest. And just like you would in any Shavasana, you're just going to start to feel the slowing down of the breath, the slowing down of all the body systems. Just close your eyes if you haven't already done that. And just for a few breaths, just allow the exhale to be a little bit longer than the inhale. And as you allow the surrender of your body weight, just notice if any tension in the body presents itself, and you know how to take care of that. All you do is just have your awareness on that area and see if you can soothe it away with your next exhale. So ideally, you would allow about 5 minutes for this. This is something you can do even if you haven't done a complete yoga practice. It's a wonderful way to just improve your posture slowly over time. So at this stage, you're going to choose just to stay here and have a couple more minutes in this posture. Or if you prefer to close out with me, you're going to bend the knee, one knee, and just roll off that roll that you're lying on. And you're going to come on to the seated posture. So you're either lying in your wonderful extension and posture improving Shavasana, or you're into a seated posture now. And for those of you who are closing out, if you'll just place hands to the heart and bowing the head. Namaste. Thank you all. I'll see you in the next video.